Disclaimer. The content presented in this show is intended for entertainment purposes only. All opinions expressed are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of any individuals or organizations mentioned. Statements made about public figures or entities are based on publicly available information and are not intended to harm or defame any person or business. This show relies on fair use of social media posts, which are presented in good faith for the purpose of commentary and criticism. Viewers and listeners are advised to form their own opinions.
It's Circle Back, episode number 17, presented by Underdog, right here on Circles Off, part of the Hammer Betting Network. This is the show where we review the week that was in gambling Twitter. This is a first time. Our first topic is so popular that we have four of us in studio right here. Kirk Evans to my left, Jeff Feinberg, and Jason Cooper, who has been participating actively in these Twitter spaces. Jacob Gramenya back there producing here today as well. So we talked about these spaces a little bit last week. There was that guy, Omar, that was running them to start. I got to say the Omar spaces have kind of been trending downhill because Elf has now taken over the Twitter spaces. And we are talking some serious Twitter spaces here. 40,000 plus views, 2,000 people in at a time. Big personalities hashing it out.
Big personalities dropping in.
Tons dropping in. It's actually crazy who's watching these.
Worlds colliding.
Worlds
some
are
of the biggest gambling accounts, some of the biggest like companies, like DraftKings. There's so much going on. It's like I don't even know where we start.
And you're here because we needed someone who put in like over 95% of the.
My weekend was dedicated.
Yes,
Listen,
so
good. Saturday was crazy for me. Just quickly, anecdotally, because I was like, okay, like. First night off in a while on a Saturday, I'm going to go spend some time with friends. And it was the biggest minus EV move of my life. I was playing board games, and all I could do was just like look at my phone, stare at the face. I'm like, Big Cat's in here. Trent's in here. What the fuck is going on? And I had to listen to it the next morning. Anyways, we'll get into it.
I mean, my wife doesn't even know what's happening with me anymore. She's like, what the hell are you doing? Like, what is that noise? What is that sound? I'm like, it's like Twitter beefs. I got to listen to this. And in some cases, I'm interjecting. I would say that the highlight of the last week, and we'll get into lots of conversations, was Jeff Nadeau versus Taylor Mathis. And Jeff Nadeau has been going at Taylor for a long time on Twitter now about the quote-unquote crypto rug pull, which we discussed in one of our earlier episodes. And they got to hash it out on air. And lots of people got to come in, ask questions as well. I got to say, Nadeau on these spaces, to me, he's kind of become the heel, I guess you would say, where a lot of the people are, in wrestling, you have your classic baby face, the good guy, the heel's the bad guy. He fits the part for me, Jeff. Like, I think Nadeau is perfect to be the guy to go after other people. And this, though, I don't know how I felt about this particular spaces. I felt like it could have been a lot better than it actually ended up being.
Well, for someone who's talked so much, I don't want to say talk shit, but like I think rightfully talk shit about Taylor Mathis and the crypto scam, he came completely unprepared. He knew this was going to happen. He was in here 2 hours before Taylor got in there and was saying, where's Taylor? Where's Taylor? She said she'd be on. You can't be doing that and then pull up with 2 questions and then that's it. Like there were so many opportunities for him to ask different questions. People had other questions that they were tweeting about. Even you sent us a picture. I tweeted out that picture about Taylor Mathis being a capper and she has how to sports bet 101 in her bookmarks bar. There were so many things he could have attacked. Like I don't want to say attacked her, but questioned her about.
He did question her about that, but at the point he did, it was kind of like
it was like a last resort, firing my last bullet. Like
she was just getting points for showing up.
Yeah,
and I like Jeff, maybe more than a lot of people in those spaces. I don't think he won this, and I think he might have been going in and out of a club. I do believe him because at least he documents that he's there often. I think it was past Stella o'clock, and he was not ready for this interaction he'd been asking for nearly 2 months.
And I think that's my biggest problem is that he was not ready for it.
And it was Taylor credit for showing up. Like she gets the points, she actually gets the win. I think if you're grading it, but the problem was you had like only 2 sides. It was people coming in, being like hyper aggressive in like with an attacking tone, or it was people who were just like slurping milk. And there was no one there like being fair and balanced to kind of what happened. And the moment someone did come in there and sort of bring up some fair points or catch her on something, she kind of started to like cry. And Elf is like running out of life jackets because he's just throwing them left, right, and center. But hey, if you're great in this thing, I think I still give Taylor a W.
I don't know if I'd give Taylor the W. I think she's neutral. I think they both lost and the spaces won.
Nadu had to win, and he didn't like.
He had a layup and he missed. That's the craziest part. He should have.
No,
it's tough to question someone on these spaces. Like last night, I was on one. I tried going after Bo. Like it's very easy to be slippery, and then people start talking, and then it just gets away from you.
Fair enough, but also like. It's not like Taylor's very slippery. Like it's not like she's like crafty enough to slip her way out of it.
Yeah.
I would say it's more so Nadu being unprepared than anything else. And I wish he was more prepared. Because again, 2 months of like calling out someone else, like you got to have a little bit more ammo than 2 questions.
Here's the thing. Like, yes, there's a lot you could probably hold Taylor to account for.
Yeah.
But in showing up, she kind of put it on the table. In that, like, I don't think her intention was to screw people over. I just don't think she's very bright. So, I don't mean to be rude. So concerning that I question if she should wear a helmet on those walking bets.
I get where you're coming from.
Like that was almost my main takeaway, despite getting a win. And Nadu couldn't even land shots.
Listen, I've long maintained that I
That's
don't.
so funny.
That's hilarious.
It was great.
The
way that you
helmet
turned
thing
out
is
was great.
unreal.
I've long maintained that I don't think that she was like complicit in like a rug pull, and I after listening to her talk, I still don't believe that she was in any capacity. Whereas, I mean, that the verdict's still out. You decide what you want to think about that. But I will say that like she doesn't make it easier on
Well,
herself.
for sure. Her story doesn't add up. Sorry to interrupt her. If you just list, like, I've been following this for a couple months now.
Pieces don't
It's there.
fit.
Nothing
They don't
fits.
fit.
And
They
everything
don't
always
fit.
changes. It's like nothing's ever straight with her. And then she just says she shouldn't talk about it. But then she just proceeds to jump on air and then talk about it. It's like, what are you doing? Make up your mind. Anyway.
I think that's been my point of Taylor Mathis every single time we've talked about her on this show. Like, you have the golden carpet. You are in a perfect spot. Just never address any of this.
100%.
Like, don't go
Just
on
keep
spaces
walking.
with fucking
Yeah.
Jeff.
Just keep
walking.
Just keep walking.
Just keep walking.
Keep
That
walking.
is all she needs to
Goldfish.
do.
Be a goldfish.
Yes.
Keep walking.
I'm getting a little bit of lactose intolerant vibes from you, though. I don't think you like the milk that much. But
Like, she's whatever, but it's just like, if you're Taylor Mathis and you find yourself in a spaces with Jeff Nadeau, you've taken the wrong turn.
Yeah.
Just keep walking. I totally agree.
But I think in some ways, anyone that listened to that whole thing, I think in the end, you kind of want to give her credit for showing up there.
absolutely.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
My favorite Nadeau shtick that's going right now is how he goes into the spaces and claims that everyone is coming into the spaces because of him. Instead of like the massive people that he's going, like Taylor Mathis, obviously, Nadeau lost his original Twitter account. It got hacked, right? So his one now is much smaller, just does not have the amount of reach. I think that makes so many people in the spaces angry that they like are constantly going after him. It, you know what? This has turned into like must see. It's not TV.
Oh, I wouldn't go that
It
far.
is. I have FOMO if I don't listen to. I mean, Jeff, me
It's
and you.
too much. I wouldn't even know. Like, I'm in there. I'm not in there as even people hide. When I'm in there, I'm in there. I wasn't in there as much as I'd like, but
Well, I
sometimes it
joined
just-
anonymously
The
because
highlights
if
are
I
high.
don't,
the
then-
highs are high.
Yes.
From what I've gathered, from when I've been in there, and I've caught like one of the great freaking moments. The highlights are high, but there is a lot of.
there's a lot of downtime,
There's
dude.
a lot of
A lot of
downtime.
downtime.
I don't know who's talking. Elf, like, credit for putting it on and hosting, and he's gaining. His arrows pointing up. I'm not expecting him to be Mike Wallace, but at the same time, like, he is like just such a pillow for some of these people who have not good. Like, he put the he would lay a pillow out for Putin.
If you join the spaces, I think he would.
For sure he would.
The only my problem.
This was my
This is a
favorite.
great from Rob DFS. Elf when it comes to dick riding scammers and pretending they're good people, and it's a Tom Brady montage. Right?
This is a good tweet, but also like Alf is very. I don't want to like.
He admits
he's aware. He's aware of it, right?
course.
He knows, and when he brings people like Bo on and glad hands him, he says like, I don't think I'm leading people to. Like anyone who listens to Bo is probably not going to buy his picks, right? And I can see where he's coming from, but at the same time, go ahead.
I just don't like. If you were on the Spaces last night with Bo, it became a.
Exactly.
Bo was just part of the Spaces.
He's just a guy.
Exactly.
This is what the space is. There's think about what is happening here right now. You have people from like Book It, Barstool, a Hammer, like all people interacting that would never interact with one another.
The ecosystems, the planets.
Yeah.
We're getting yelled at that we don't know who the Golden Boys are.
I don't know who the fuck
I don't know. I don't
Do you
know.
know who the Golden Boys are?
We got to do research.
I don't have the ecosystem is huge.
They think me and Kirk are idiots in there. They're like, you don't know. It's like some big betting Discord. You don't know who the Golden Boys are?
They thought
I'm
we
sure
were lying.
The ecosystem is so big. I'm not disputing that they're big.
Yes.
It's easy for things to be blown up that you don't really have a clue on. And yeah, listen, Elf, he can't be Mike Wallace in there, like holding these people to account. But it seems like any time that there is like a fair and balanced account of something, he is just so quick to like rug pull people who might be onto a thread. So that would be something that I didn't enjoy. But, you know, he has to suck up to the people who are going to come in to take the whippings.
Yeah.
And he does it like there's such bigger personalities that once they get going, he can't stop them. And I'm not even blaming him for
100%.
that.
He just has to sit by. So, I mean, he's trying to moderate as best as he can.
He's done a good job, I will say. Alpha, he's done very well.
And he'll be
especially
so
last night
much
on
better
Sunday.
in 2 weeks than he was last
100%.
week.
He's learned to mute people now when they're
Yeah.
rambling on too much. He gets different sides of the conversation.
It also gets choppy and frustrating sometimes as a listener. And I don't know, like, you've all been in those spaces. Like, there's nothing on you, and it just stops.
Well, also, like if you said that you join under your name.
Yeah.
If I join and everyone sees that I'm in there,
they call
start
you
to
out.
bring me into the They're like, Pizzola, get in here, whatever.
Yeah, and the dude called me out. I didn't take the bait.
I'm just eating a burrito right now. I'm listening. Like I don't.
No, dude called me out, not to like fight me, just to like
Bring Jeff in.
I'm not taking. I'm just here. I'm here as a fan. Just like I'm here with my family. We're just taking it in. I'm not getting in just because you call me out. But sure, I seen that.
The spaces I joined last night, and this will be out on Tuesday, so I joined on Sunday night. I ended up picking up 370 Twitter followers from that. But I went to my message requests on. I had like 100 people reaching out to me in real time, like cook this fraud, like this and that. Like this is the Jerry Springer show.
Was passes even brought up?
Passes
I tried
not brought
to.
up.
So
I tried
that's what
to.
I mean. Like that's the thing. That's a new thing. That doesn't even get addressed at all.
I wish I was.
They're in there
available.
talking. Tell me about your career. I don't know who that was. That was in 4 nights of spaces. That was the biggest loser in all of it. Like,
I will say,
absolutely. That sort of.
yes,
that angle.
the different behavior, like. I do appreciate that Taylor did come into this. It was very entertaining, but like the 15 minutes afterwards of everyone jumping in and being like, "Oh, we got to applaud Taylor for doing this," and I was like,
Bo Wagner, do you remember like by the Taco Bell? That's when Elf needs to be a moderator.
Yes.
I would say. But I guess these things, they're like those goddamn adventure books. You choose your own adventure. Go to this page, go to that page.
Yes.
There's no routine or order. Anyone complaining that there isn't more like semblance and order, like I have, is probably an idiot.
But that's what makes it fun. The lack of order is
100%.
what makes it fun.
Someone came
and
in
the
there.
chaos is what makes it like it's organized chaos. Yeah. Man, there was mobsters on there last night.
That was
They're
crazy.
talking
So-
about like I did 16 years and then like shut
Someone
the
came
fuck
in
up.
there and said that Bo showed up at his house and he showed up at Bo's office, that their internet heat got so real, and they found out that they live near each other, and like Elf is so overwhelmed that the guy just doesn't even bring this. This guy's not even part of the show. That's a whole fucking docu-series.
Do you have his ad? Let's push it.
I'm working on my own investigative report.
Okay, you're gonna start your own spaces then.
No.
You'll investigate, hand it off to Elf, then we'll get a good space.
Everything Elf is doing, though, I sat in a pizzeria across from Pizzola. And
You can't
told
say
him,
it like that anymore.
This is exactly no. I'll say
have
it.
to say pizzeria.
Sal Governal. I'll say it exactly how I want. Speaking of Sal Governal, Nadeau's biggest flaw is not accepting his role as one of Portnoy's whackpackers.
Yeah.
Well, I love Nadeau. He's got great qualities, but those qualities need to be supported by the infrastructure.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
That is Barstool.
So let's bring it back though, because we're talking about mobsters. We're talking about Nadeau. We talked
It's
about
all over.
It's all over the place.
Yeah.
But like Nadeau taking L's. I want to get into the mobster stuff with Gene. I have his name written down. Gene Borello and Spanky going at Nadeau. We like. That was crazy.
Okay,
that
guy
I had
Gene,
normies reaching out to me who don't like follow the gambling Twitter sphere, who follow Trent on Twitter, and we're jumping in and are like, "Are you listening to this?" Like literally, my friends who don't pay attention to any of this stuff. That's how wide-reaching this stuff has gone.
I gotta tell you though,
gotta be out of your mind to call Spanky a rat.
Well, but
are you kidding?
First of all, this whole segment from Elf,
Spanky started this Grow a Friend convention in Vegas. Like, I'll make jokes. Calling Spanky a rat? Are you Nadeau? You're crazy.
It's the whole segment. I don't know how that came together, but Elf should win some sort of award for how I don't know how he got a mobster to. I don't know the backstory of that.
What happened?
It seemed set. People were complaining it felt set up.
No,
I didn't understand the backstory.
I don't know if it was set up, but 20 people messaged Gene, according to him, saying that Nadeau was talking shit 3 days ago. So Gene made a brand new Twitter account. This guy is big on Instagram. I look at him, big on Instagram, big on YouTube. He has like 100 million views on YouTube. With he has
huge.
like a podcast about the mobster. He says he invented the genre. I don't know. I'm not going to confirm or deny. I don't know. The mob genre.
The mob genre on YouTube.
The mob podcast. Yeah, the mob
mob
Or he's
pod.
like, or
Stories.
maybe he didn't invent it.
I was
but
part of the Bonino crime family, like those types of ones.
He might have popularized it, right? Who knows? I don't know much about him, but all I know is that he said he made a Twitter account that day to go at Nadeau because people were DMing him saying Nadeau's talking shit about you. Nadeau claims that he never said anything. We got to pull the tapes, but there's
and people are claiming this was all made up just to drag Nadeau onto the stream.
Yes, I think so. I don't know. I don't know if it was made up, but people messaged Gene saying that Nadeau was talking shit. So Gene popped on, said, "Bring Nadeau in. I want to talk to him." Nadeau backtracked, said, "I never said anything." And then I don't know how it got to him.
But this guy Gene is like, "No, I know you. I know you
you're
said shit before. You're a scumbag."
They've gone to fights before on air. There's a whole.
And then he started talking about Spanky. He's like, "Listen, I've done my research into this. Everyone got put away except for Spanky. Doesn't that make you one?" Spanky's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? You're talking about a civil suit, not like you don't even know what's going on." It was amazing, but this shit spreads like wildfire. Like I'll be at home, I'm not even listening, and I get I'm not exaggerating, 30 messages at one time of man of the library's talking about you. What are you going to do when you get a message? You're just not going to be like, you're going to go in there and you're going to defend yourself. And that's what's happening. It's getting nuts.
But I don't know who's yelling at who.
That's so okay. Part of the problem as well is this is a small problem I have. Brent, and
sounds
Alf
the exact same.
You guys got to come up with fake accents or something so we can
I
differentiate.
think
That
I
is a
like
good
Brett.
point.
I like both of them. I
Brett
love both
stock
of them.
up this week.
Brett was
For
the guy
sure.
that got NBA Green Beans that got into it with Joey Kanish. We covered it on the show a few weeks back because I think it was the bad prop. Commanders plus 7.
I was
Commanders.
listening yesterday. Some dude was dropping slurs and the whole thing
They
dropped.
can't
Yeah.
because you can't.
Yeah.
Twitter just
Yeah.
canceled it. They had to
Cancel it.
restart.
Of course, and then this guy came back in and it come to find
Well,
out
no, this
that
was
guy
a Brett-
rips
this-
off old ladies in construction
This is
scams.
Billy. This is a different guy now. This is
It's
Billy.
all, I don't know how to keep up. This is like Game of Thrones. There's
Yes,
so
yes,
many
I-
characters.
I'm not even
I
kidding
don't
you.
know their names.
I wrote
Okay.
down the connections right here.
This is what, Jeff, you'll remember. This is the way that I think about this in my head. When I was in my early 20s, I used to intern at Hardcore Sports Radio, which was on Sirius Satellite Radio. I used to intern with Gabe Morency on Sports Rage. It ran 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. every night. I felt like as an intern or a listener of that show, I couldn't miss one single show because there was like storylines that happened every night. One listener would call in and be like, fuck this guy, like fuck Rickster from Toronto. They would just be yelling. And I'm like, I would be lost. So I created like a nightly recap, just like a summary that I would do. So if anyone missed the show, they could be in tune. These are 4.5 hours long, dude. No. And like I can't
even listen. This
is what's going to kill. Like
because there's too much. The lows are like too.
Yes.
There's too. This is not a knock on them, but like yes, the highs are high, but to sometimes catch those highs, it's like I'm going fishing.
100%.
There's just too much
like
wave around.
Trent comes in one night and he's like, Trent's in there and he's like, dude, people got to start going after each other. This and that. It's like, I worry that this is going to like plateau a little bit too soon just because of the frequency and the lack of content around it.
They need to not do it
every single night.
Often because exactly what happens is it hits a massive lull. There's a massive low, and Elf is like, let's get Man of the Library.
Yeah.
Where's Man of the Library? It's like you can only have like the sideshow characters do their bit every so often. Like Man of the Library can't come in there and do his bit every night and still be funny. It'll just be like, okay, we heard him talk about the numerology yesterday.
Yeah.
It was funny though at a certain point. Like it became this like mini Barstool thing, like not even Big Cat. Like I saw Jack Mack was in there, KB was
Jersey
in
Jerry
there,
was listening.
Jersey Jerry was in there the whole
Ohio
time.
State was listening to the whole thing. Like
the Whack Packers were in there. I wish Nadeau was still a Barstool Whack Packer. The best quality about certain Whack Packers, like you have your Beetlejuice Whack Packers, and then there are the Whack Packers who think they're too good to be Whack Packers.
Yeah.
Listen, people think that I could say that about me as some of the enterprises that I'm a part of on the internet. But I don't know. I'm self-aware enough to know I'm not like gonna lead anything on my own. I like being the Whack Packer. So I wish Nadeau had like realized that, but it is what it is. Well, but the Barstool universe, like, I don't know, sort of catching wind of it, I thought was pretty entertaining. They had brought up the Rough and Rowdy thing. As the Barstool, as a guy that listens to some of like the Portnoy content, I believe he scrapped Rough and Rowdy after the last one.
We can bring it back.
Like
they'll bring it back
for Twitter Space.
Let's do
fight.
gambling
Trent to fight Bo Wagner. I think it will come back.
And then also Brett and Man of the Library would do numbers.
Yeah,
that would be fantastic.
Like it would be funny for Brett and Man of the Library. I don't think
that's going to do
There's no way Book and Trent is getting in a ring.
No chance.
So
no chance.
Not even like to insult like his ability to fight. I don't have a clue. I just mean like he doesn't need to lower himself to that level.
Bo, you think?
No, Trent.
And if Trent, and I think Jack Mack said this, if Trent's fighting someone, it's not going to be Bo.
Really?
Bo is like very niche in terms of people knowing him. Trent, people actually know. Like he has like legitimate fame.
Well,
like Bo has like 100,000 followers, but gets like 2 likes on his tweets.
That's very true. But who would Trent fight? And also, like, I want
no one.
You don't think so? So I think he's friends with Sean O'Malley, and I think the content that those two guys would put out would reach a massive scale. And I think it would be a mistake not to follow through with this, just based off of the content you can make off of that alone.
Don't get me wrong. I would love to see it. I just don't believe it.
Okay, and I think it would sell.
It was
Anything with Trent would sell.
good, but there was more potential in like both the Bo and Taylor stuff.
Yeah, I agree. So I enjoyed it. I definitely agree with the sentiment of at its peak, this is like 10 out of 10, A+ fire content. But there are these lulls where I'm just like, why am I still in here?
My attention span can't hold it. I just drop out.
And it does, like, too much of the stuff is getting manufactured. I think it would be smart to, like, lean into stuff as it happens, right? If you see something, it's kind of like what this show does as well, right? But in real time, you see two people going at it. That's the event for the night. That's your main
totally agree.
So listen, Alf already tweeted today's Monday. We're recording this on Monday. It's gonna be released tomorrow morning. So there's one tonight. Are you guys gonna tune in? And I want you guys to stick through. Not like
here's the problem.
Unless it goes crazy, tune in obviously. But if you're not gonna tune in, let's not tune in and see if we miss anything.
No, but here's the thing.
I'm gonna tune in.
Elf's biggest problem, like you said, it's the frequency and the length. Because at 4 hours, I can't take it in after the fact. I can't even get to it before you do another one the day after.
Yeah,
I know.
Right?
Like it's got
to be at a time frame where it's like I wanted short enough Like, I don't need to get through it in one sitting, but something that I feel is like digestible after the fact.
Yes.
And when I see it's 4 hours, I'm just like, well, I hope someone's going to tell me about the highlight,
we
because
need a
I ain't
day to
going in.
digest
I ain't
this.
going in there.
Well,
we need a day to digest.
Well,
well,
you spent the
100%.
whole weekend listening to like 12 hours.
But that's
It's
my point.
crazy.
I actually do think it will reach the point where it's actually going to be so overwhelming to keep up that I actually won't want to keep up anymore.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to, but like
But
I
Elf-
cannot commit
Credit
4.5
to Elf.
hours. Every
I'm
day.
going to give Elf benefit of the doubt, say like he will find the sweet spot.
I think so too. I think
Because
he's
he
working
seems
through it.
like he knows what's.
Yeah, he Elf. Like I didn't
He's a
know
smart
much.
guy.
He's a smart guy. He's stirring the like. He kind of knows what he has a
He
full-time
said
job.
you were. Someone said you were the best gambler on Twitter. I was in there when that line was dropped. Rob Pizzola.
No,
Did
no.
Dude drop that?
Sorry,
I love Nate, dude. I love
I
Nate,
think
dude.
the list
I love
was-
him. I love
I
him.
think the list was like Pizzola, Zilbert, and like Kanish. I don't think it was a very serious list.
I remember what you're referring to, but
Top 3. That's my top 3 as well.
oh man, I find the most fascinating part personally just to be like these areas of gambling Twitter that I had no idea exist. Like some random beefs between two. Like you got one scammer who runs a Discord who comes on
Yelling
who's
at
like,
other scammers.
everybody avoid this other guy. Like he's
a
it's like you're all fucking scammers. Like that's what I find interesting. I wonder if there's a conversation to be had though, because a lot of people say like, should you be giving these people a platform to talk? Because everyone
Most of
comes
the time
in and
when
gets
you
to
hear
promote their
them
own stuff.
Yeah, but I agree with Elf's overall assessment, and I wish certain people he was a bit harder on, or like allowed the fair, not them to dodge fair questions. But at its core, like once you listen to these fucking people speak, man,
It's
like you
they
don't
tell
want to
themselves.
invest in them. Yeah,
I
they
think-
tell them themselves.
I think Bo is kind of the exception to that. He is very slithery. He's like clearly a smart guy, and when he gets on the spaces, he figures out a way to be part of like the normal crowd. And I could have seen if someone's like not really like in on it, listening to Sunday Night Space and being like, oh, this Bo guy seems smart. Like he's shitting on Man of the Library. Oh, he sells picks. I could see that. But in reality, he's an all-time scammer.
Well, also, we haven't even brought up Man of the Vic, who is doing a great job championing the anti-Bo movement, where he's literally tweeting out, I will eat my own shit. I will pay you $20,000 US dollars to post your PNL. If you post it, I will eat shit. There's multiple other people who are agreeing to do that. Even, I think, Crypto Corby or CC, I forget his name. Corby Craig, sorry. On Twitter, even mentioned he would also pay, I don't know if it was Man of the Library or I think
People are paying
for
for
the
P&Ls now.
PNLs.
That's
which
what-
is crazy. Sorry, go ahead.
Just Elf is giving Bo too much grace.
Yes.
Like I get it with Taylor. Everyone that came in there, they were so fucking aggressive.
Yeah.
Someone couldn't have just been like I'm not saying I'm the person for the job, but someone like a very calm, I want to say like lawyer-esque, like boring delivery, asking her these questions. They'd come in there, they'd be so intimidating with their like tone. They'd make her, you could almost tell, like tear up. And then with Bo, like you said, Bo, different, but he'd just be so good at weaseling his way. Like they'd ask him something hard, and then he would bring up like a highlight from the space 4 minutes ago that everyone liked and was really funny, and is so easy
Master
to get
deflector.
them off.
Yeah.
Oh, of course,
Yeah.
Like,
Great lawyer.
Perfect.
Honestly, I thought he'd be a
Perfect,
shit
yeah.
lawyer, but like after
Good.
listening to him, you might be a good lawyer.
And like I said in my clip last week, as much as like the hospice numbers
That was
and the
crazy.
like making the announcements of when it's time to lay it to the wifey and stuff, as part of like a peer group, I think guy's an asset because he's just so out, like different and out there. I would see him as an asset to the peer group, as long as it's one where like we got to make fun of our friends.
You had a bold statement last week. You would add him to the friend group, and based off of listening to the spaces, you were 100% right. He is the biggest plus EV value add to a friend
Like if
group.
he's your only friend, that might be weird. But I mean, like as a guy who's gonna be part and will accept like being made fun of when he does something embarrassing, I see Bo as an asset, and it'd be great to have a friend who can get down like that at
Quickly,
FanDuel.
though.
Like that's
Most
that's
likely
an
horrible
asset.
shit, Jeff.
Yeah, that's an asset.
horrible better though. But look, let's just throw that out there because I don't want to. I feel like I'm getting lulled by him. I'm starting to like him. I know he's a scammer. Maybe not, but like
No,
based
he is
off
a
of
scammer.
based off of everything we've seen, he is
Yes,
a scammer. Like
absolutely.
Well, I think we can pretty comfortably say he's not a winning bettor.
For sure.
I mean, we
And he
know
charges
by
for
the
picks.
limit. Listen, like FanDuel's pretty respectable with limits relative to
sure.
a lot of rec books, but he's getting like 10x limits, and that just doesn't happen. It's plain and simple. It just doesn't. So.
And Blez bets, I'll tell you something, Blez, you are only made for short form.
Stock down.
Yeah.
Massive stock down.
Like you have, once you are out of like your quick soundbite videos, buddy, you do not. I'm just advice. You do not want to play like long form game. It's not for you.
I immediately tune out as soon as I see Blez Bets as a speaker. I'm not gonna. It's just it just does nothing for me. Man of the library, Blez Bets. I think the shticks are like.
But
really,
I think the overall people who aren't part of gambling Twitter, like I think the spaces live up to like just pigs in mom's basement slobs. This is Friday, Saturday night.
Yeah,
so
how is
this
it so many?
Friday.
What are people doing?
I am 40 years old with 3 kids. I'm allowed to be home on Friday and Saturday nights.
Yeah.
Okay, my wife asked me what plans. I said football season's over. I got plans in the fall. Okay. Some of you people have lives to
Don't
live.
look at me. Like I was listening. Yeah, sure. I was listening to this. It's crazy because what Elf has done has been like basically Dana White's goal his entire career as the owner of the UFC is to convince people to stay at home and watch his content on a Saturday night, which is the toughest thing to do.
I don't know. I don't think,
and he did that.
I
He's done
totally
that.
agree. Elf massive stock up, but I don't think he was convincing people to stay. I don't think people were staying in for the Elf spaces. I think there are just a lot of people on gambling Twitter who don't have.
Okay, I saw the
super
picture
exciting
of,
lives.
So I think a lot of the stereotypes also like stock up, gambling, Twitter stereotypes.
100%.
That many mutants
This reminds
are home
me of
and
wrestling
want
in
to
the
be
80s
entertained.
and 90s, man. The characters are so... It's not like modern day characters now where they're just like themselves. AJ Styles. This is like classic characters where you're like, holy fuck, like this guy's got something going on. I mean that in the nicest way, but it's insane. Like I mean, there was one guy, there was that Losing Better came into one of the spaces and pretended to be someone else. And people thought he was that person for like 10 minutes.
It's
so
actually crazy
funny.
that it's taken us to like 30 minutes to get to this point because in my opinion, this was the highlight of the entire spaces so far. It was Rob, you going against Prop Fellas and Jimmy from Prop Fellas. And then also Billy, Billionaire Bets, whatever the
Billionaire
fuck that guy's
Bets,
name, going after, I don't want to say he's on your side, but he's also going after Prop Fellas. They're going after each other, calling each other scammers. And then when Losing Better came in with the fake accent, like if I need to, like, we need to find that, clip that. That was maybe the top 10 funniest moments I've seen on Twitter in like a long time. I was cackling.
I got my one move with these guys, which is I go in and it's just, what is your edge?
Yeah.
If you cannot tell me what your edge is betting on sport, you want to run a Discord for $40 a month? Sure. And you know what? Some guys will be like, I just run it and we've built this community of thousands of guys who just like to talk to each other. There's value in that. I completely agree.
Yeah.
Go for it. It's the guys that come in and are like, we're giving away these picks. We're helping people win money.
Winners, yeah.
You can't even explain what your edge is. He's like, well, what's your edge? I gave him like $1 million. I'm like, I do all these things. I'm like, what's yours? And he's like, he's like flustered. You sell a product. I'm like, yeah, we sell an odds screen. The guy doesn't know what an odds
Couldn't
screen is.
fathom the thought of an odds screen. He probably doesn't even know that there's multiple sports books that you can bet at. Like, he doesn't know what line shopping
I
is.
wasn't a speaker at that point, but it was such a good encapsulation of why those people were scammers when the idea of someone betting full time came up.
Yeah.
Unimaginable to
Yes,
them.
yeah.
Unimaginable to these two people who sell picks that you could win enough money that would be your main source of income.
I got a job in finance. It's like, great.
Congratulations. And you're still Losing Better. How fucking shit are you at your job? Like,
Yes.
Oh my God, man. Truly incredible stuff that's going on. I
Yes.
just hope that it can,
well,
I hope it could develop into a long-term thing and it just doesn't fizzle out. And I already, like today.
You see the flame out.
I was up till 2 a.m. last night. I'm not feeling the greatest right now. It's, I'm like, I don't know how much longer I can do this. And I have phone. Like I see a picture of Trent at the Knicks game at
With the
MSG with the phone,
so good.
listening
That
to the
was so
spaces.
good.
By the way, he bets the Knicks that night because Man of the
Man of the
Library
Library
gave it out like minus 520 money line.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, what happened to the script with the Knicks?
And it lost.
Holy fuck,
well,
man.
he's got to sometimes send out the fakes. You can't be on to him too much.
Yeah, there's all sorts. I don't even. I included this. I can't even. There's so many things that have happened since this guy. I don't even know who this guy is anymore. Completely forgot. But
Yeah, that's the thing. Elf has to let his shit like breathe.
I know.
Just as a content suggestion, let it breathe. build some drama up for the next couple days, and let's go again on like the middle of the week.
For his own personal sanity. You listen to him at the end of these spaces, he's like, guys, I'm exhausted. I got to work in the morning.
I'm like,
Sorry, he made it seem like the Mathis thing. Like he has one Tinder girl leave when it starts and another one coming by the time it ends.
Way stuck up for him. He's got girls in the background. This guy's doing well for himself. How old is he? 22, 23?
24, I think he said.
Oh my God. And then the Elf letting Taylor ask for like guy dating stories? That's not what people are there for. Like
but he's not stupid.
Hold on.
He's definitely dick riding for
no, but in that he has to rein that shit in. That is my point.
Yeah, but he needs to stay on good terms with her so that he can invite her back. It's the same with
that's
Bo.
fine.
He's not going to go in on these. How many times did people ask Elf if he thought Bo was a winning bettor, where he just deflected or didn't answer the question?
He said, I think he's pretty much, I don't know if he's outright said no, but he's implied that he does not think he's a winning bettor at all, and he's said that.
Yeah, I get it. You're you go to your safe news space to know you're going to be protected. But at some point, how many times are you going to let Bo dance around it? Taylor, like you said, it's almost a free pass.
Okay,
the fact that you listen to it and it's like there's nothing there.
Yeah.
We'll quickly see if it goes stale, because I'm going to ask you guys each yes or no question. Are you going to tune in tonight?
I don't plan to, but I'm almost certain that I will.
Okay, see, are you going to tune in?
No, I won't be on tonight.
You're going to tune in tonight?
Yeah, but you'll see me in a 20-minute snippet. I'm out there, I'm walking the dog. Instead of listening to some other content, I'll be listening to that. That.
Yeah, I don't have my football podcast to listen to anymore either.
Put the kids to bed, go to Huff and Canyon outdoors. That's what I'll be listening to.
That's the best way to consume
But
it.
I'm not sitting there just listening to it.
I am. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I love it.
But also think about it's different, because if I was in my mid-20s and I don't mean this offensively.
I have no life.
but you're I don't know if you're single or not, whatever. We don't have to reveal that, but I'm married, right? I don't have kids. I spend time with my wife at night. We do different things. It's just really weird if on a nightly basis I'm no, babe, go do something else, whatever, and I'm just gonna listen. I
want it.
I was in the hot tub listening to Twitter Spaces. It's insane.
That being said, if I wake up the next morning and it's 45 minutes, an hour, I will probably make my way through the whole thing. If I don't like something, I'll hit the fast 15 button. I'll fat thumb it till it gets to I think something picks up. But at 4 hours, I'm not even fat thumbing through that thing. It is just too much for me to
change the speed, just like any other podcast. So I'm listening.
But 4 hours.
It just feels.
I woke up this morning. Classic.
If it's 4 hours, there's another one tonight. You're should I tap out now?
Exactly.
Because I'm not going to be able to last much longer.
I rolled over. I grabbed my phone. I saw the amount of notifications I had on my phone this morning. I can't do that every night. Mm-hmm. I cannot speak just because of the sheer volume of people who will reach out to me afterwards. It has reached that level of mass market.
What do you think would happen? What do you think would happen? Not to step on Elf's toes here. If on Thursday night we did a circle back spaces where someone could come in there, yell at me, yell at you.
I think that's part of the problem, though, as why Elf feels like he has to do this every day and as much as possible, is because Omar, I don't want to say he's the originator of this, but this all started in an Omar space, and Omar
Spanky is the originator of this.
Okay,
these happened 5 years ago. Yeah. And Spanky was the originator. He would have people on in an open forum to air their grievance, and he was the mediator, and he would literally Spanky is the originator. Yeah. Now it fizzled out after a while.
So it's gambling Twitter court. Elf is he could be a better judge, but he's the judge.
Yeah, he doesn't even need.
Yeah, he doesn't even judge.
To keep the conversation flowing, make sure people
But I said, I feel like if this thing actually is sustainable, he will be so much better at this thing, and especially at the rate he's pumping them out.
Yeah,
the reps he's getting at modding. He's going to be a king in 2 weeks.
40 hours a week he's doing.
Yeah. Those hours to be an expert. What do you say, 1,000 hours at a craft or something makes you, whatever that is. Elf's on his way. He's going to be an expert at the craft sooner than later.
Yeah.
So good for him.
Yeah. The only thing that I really didn't like.
How old is he? Do I know that?
He's
Do we know that?
he's early 20s. I didn't, and this is not because of the person. Separate the person. I listened to the Fezzik spaces that he had.
Horrible.
Which was kind of like an interview.
Horrible.
That one sucked.
What are we talking about? There's other spaces.
Elf did it.
So this was on
Fezzik.
Friday, I think, right?
Thursday
or
or Friday. But I'm tuning in. I'm like, fuck, get somebody in here to ask this guy some tough questions, man.
You can't have. I like Fezzik. It's been documented. I could be a writer for Fezzik, but you can't have Fezzik on a spaces without letting the public court like get a word or five.
Exactly.
Like that is just
I think
unacceptable.
That felt like a.
Elf won't make that mistake again.
I think he fucked up because like Jake Benzique was also on, and the Profit Exchange's account was also on. It had.
So it was a paid. It was an. It was
listen,
a paid
I'm not going to
stream?
say it was a paid stream. You're supposed to disclose with #ad if it was, by the way. But we're not going to talk about or like make it.
It was so
presented by,
different than
etc.
everything else Elf did that it makes me think maybe
Right?
that was
So,
an ad.
I'm sad that I missed this one because I would have jumped in easily and asked Fezzik if he had receipts because he still hasn't posted or mentioned anything about his receipts with his
For what?
The punt bet.
Nah, he made money on the pump bet.
Yeah. I think
He made. Now listen.
my issue with the punt bets is not that Fezzik bet it himself. It's that he gave it out as a play on a service where it's.
Yeah, and I think your assessment of Rob's was right. Like he got it, he saw it, he got it, he got in on it. And when he told other people to bet, like I don't think he told someone else to bet it, knowing they're only getting $12 on it.
Listen, I'm a little fish. If I'm still gonna go after Fezzik for this because I haven't seen it yet, so I'm gonna listen. Maybe I want to.
You're the guy. You're like, where's the P&L?
Yeah,
Where is
that's-
it? Show the
that's-
profit
yeah.
loss. I'll eat a bag of shit. If
I don't know if I'll do
What
that,
is with
but-
people eating shit? What is
The
happening
Eagles
in the
are
world?
in the Super Bowl. Remember,
I know.
dude ate
Remember
the
that
shit
guy?
on the
Oh,
ground.
Fucking
last time.
disgusting, man. I don't know what's going on with people now. It's one thing to pay someone to show their P&L, but it's another to say like you're gonna eat. I'm gonna eat shit. If you're
don't eat shit.
Don't eat
Yeah,
shit.
don't eat shit, but
I would
also-
highly recommend you don't eat shit.
It's also crazy. That's how confident they are that he won't do it. Is that they're
Yes,
willing
he
to
won't.
stake that?
Yes.
And just story to those who want to be wary of eating shit. I believe John Rich, who was also in the Spaces, Barstool guy, said he would eat his shit if something happened, and he actually ended up eating shit on camera, and it got like no views.
Yeah.
and he got like there
gonna
were
watch
people
that.
making fun of him for it because it's like you ate shit for no reason.
Yeah,
That's disgusting.
it's pretty awful.
I mean, overall, I think it was like good for the ecosystem.
Yes.
I think.
Great
Yes.
for us.
I love this meme that I Won the Money created, which is one of my favorite memes to use, which is the car that veers to the right really quickly. So left is discussing edges and good bankroll management. Right, I will eat my shit if you can show a profitable FanDuel. That's what it is.
Yeah, well, I think, and Brett says this a lot on the Spaces, and I'll tip my cap to him because it's a great point. He always says that like the sharp people are always criticizing like you can't have Bo Wagner on, you can't platform, but like this is the shit we love. Everyone's spending fucking 20 hours in these spaces listening to it. We love the brain rot, and I'll admit it, that's true. I do love the brain rot.
Yeah.
When the Fezzik space, there were a lot of problems with it because he wasn't challenged at all. But or the Flup space where they were talking about paid discords, like those ones sucked because they just like were talking about normal stuff. And
Flup
that's
is
not
also
fun.
way too nice. Chris Deerkiss is a great guy, but like he asks questions. You got to be like when you get in there, you got to be ready to fucking stir it up.
Who's a tough scene for like your shippers and your boners.
They won't be in there.
No, I'm saying it's
You
a
don't
tough
think
scene.
Diggs
Like
will ever jump in there?
no, it's a tough scene for them who are just like the only content that's acceptable is.
I don't think they care though. Honestly, I don't think they care. I don't.
Yeah.
They fucking put a poll out about me being here.
That's true, but it's different
I see what you're
because
saying.
So what do you
Because
mean
I'm
they don't
hosting.
care?
it's a little.
Oh,
bit-
so like you shouldn't be downgrading yourself by sitting here with me, Rob.
you know what? I go to bat for you all the time. This show wouldn't exist without you. But
agree.
yes, I think that's part of what it is. I really do. Like if I did a Twitter, we could do one. We could open it up to questions with Jeff Feinberg, Shipper, Diggs, whatever the hell they want to ask. But it's where is that?
I don't
gonna,
think they want to ask me questions.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, we'll see who tunes in tonight.
I just don't think they want.
Well, my question to you: has your tune changed on Man of the Vig? Who has been?
I'm not really sure who that is.
He's the guy with.
That's Shohei's
Yeah, Shohei.
guy?
Yeah, which
He's
is-
the guy who really him and Moneybag Yo. really go after these guys hard.
Which I
Yeah,
respect,
like that.
by the way.
I got no beef with that.
By the
Why-
way, this guy, I just saw the picture on screen. Who is this Beeve guy? Do you guys know who that is?
Never heard of him.
That
No.
guy came into the Taylor Mathis space and he kept asking the same question over and over, which was like, fuck, marry, kill,
Bin Laden.
Bin Laden, something. And like,
Do you know what I think he must be? Because, like, obviously you get Big Cat and that's great, but they're like on a one agenda track thing. The Barstool is just like the Nadu Rico beef because it was Bin Laden, Rico, Nadu.
Yeah.
So he must have just been doing like thinking he's making Big Cat laugh.
I gotta
That's
say
what
that
going,
was
I
the
guess.
that by far since
But-
these spaces have started the worst shtick of anyone.
But last night it was different. It was like a lot of the like secondary, tertiary Barstool
Yes.
guys that seem to have just been in there for their own
Yeah.
personal entertainment.
Yeah, there's a couple people in here that I want to talk about. But first of all, Freudy,
This is a
Fraudy,
Freud. Freud.
how to lose brain cells speedrun edition. I've never heard of this guy. Like,
Oh, you don't know Freud?
I don't know him.
Okay, so
Good meme though.
I actually have a small story about. I don't like Freudy, and this is like you could call it irrational, but let me choose my words here because I don't want to reveal too much information. When we started the Hammer, me, Johnny, and Julian, the idea was to like blend sharps and square. We wanted to have like an all-encompassing network that caters to everyone, and we tried hard to get Trent to join. And we had a conversation with Trent, and he's like, fuck yeah, I'm in, like, I'm on board with this, love the idea or whatever. And we're supposed to have a follow-up conversation, and Freudy joined that. Freudy is actually Trent's agent, and he shut that down real quick. He's like, no, that's not, the only way this is happening is if you guys buy Book It. And he gave, like, a very rough price point, which, in hindsight, we probably should have gone forwards with something like that.
Does this guy take good care of Trent?
I don't know, but like I can't see his picture and his name now without thinking of that. And like he's well within his right to say that, by the way. I'm not
course, yeah.
but I personally just don't because it would have been amazing. Like it would have been really cool if Trent was part of our network in the
agree,
early going.
for
I
sure.
could have done stuff regularly with Trent.
I love Trent, by the way. I think he's awesome. I've changed my tune on him. I think he's great.
Oh,
I was worried about his like negative impact with the just like chasing, right? But I think he is what he is. He's very honest about it, which is the most important.
Someone asked me on.
think
Someone
he's
asked me if I
hilarious.
think
I think
Trent
he's
is a
great.
winner on.
And you said,
I'm like, I don't book bets, but let's just say hypothetically, if I was booking bets, I would probably take Trent's action.
He's good.
I like Trent. I don't like him in this
No.
form because he's just in there and
He's too
just,
nice.
He's too nice and he's just trying to like. He's publicly saying like, let's get some more beefs in here. Like, let's stir it up. Who wants to stir it up? And it's like it's becoming. That's the part of it that is gonna like when it gets overplayed like that. It has to be authentic.
yes.
Yeah.
When people come in and they legitimately hate each other, it's fucking great. But once you start saying like we need to
actually-
let's all tag man of the library on Twitter or whatever, it sucks, man, when that happens.
It's fucking awesome when two people hate each other from the internet and they've never met and they're angry about each other because of tweets or
Yeah.
other thing. That's great.
You know who was born in the wrong generation and missed it by like maybe 3 years too early was the Betstamp Social guy. If the Betstamp Social guy was around for these, he would be having a field day.
He would be in there just like the DraftKings account
He
is
would-
in there.
well, no,
Betstamp's account would be in there nonstop.
But he
if
would
it
be
was
talking on that for sure.
100%
He would
from
be
the
going-
Betstamp brand
Yeah.
account. Like he would be obliterated.
Sorry, and just to confirm, so from a desktop you can go in anonymous?
Yes.
So that'll never be.
I
me.
did find a workaround to go in anonymous on mobile as well.
Well, no,
but it involved using
At
the
8
web
o'clock,
version
but
of
like
the
at
app.
9 at night, like I'm not sitting at the desktop. So
update-
I'm just.
Update your apps. It allows me to listen anonymously on my
Yeah,
phone.
I don't
my
even
phone as
want to
well.
listen.
Are you iPhone or are you
anonymously.
Android?
Yeah, I don't want
So
to
you guys
listen
are
anonymously.
I'm not in there enough to be embarrassed.
No.
I know, like, listen, the worst case scenario is what happened to our guy Hitman a few weeks ago. They're having an awkward conversation. It gets clipped, and like, you don't want your face to be one of the pictures.
It's
there.
crazy because he's the only other face that's not in the conversation, but it kind of looks like he's in the conversation.
It
That
was so good.
funny.
It was so good.
Like that's a fear of anyone's, but I and these conversations wouldn't shock you if they drifted to places that like you wouldn't want your face on the clip of that.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have wanted to be like tagged in the mafia conversation that was happening, you know. But like, that probably wouldn't have been my thing.
Listen, we're just as guilty. We're going to do an hour on this fucking thing, and I make fun of the guy for hosting it for 4.
It's amazing content. Honestly, it's like
I wouldn't say I make fun.
some
but
of it is really childish, and it's fine to admit that.
That's okay.
And it's totally fine. It's really entertaining, man. I credit Elf. Like I tweeted something about his like stock dropping. That was like when he had Bo Wagner on the first time.
It wasn't good.
It sucked, man. The guy was just deflecting every question. It's like at some point just take like boot. I'm like, let's move on. But overall, I think he's created something that the proof is in the pudding, man. Like the viewership or listenership, I should say, the amount of people talking about it, including us, it's a great idea.
And the delivery system on Twitter is fantastic. Like
sure.
it's just
It's just
Well,
there.
that's
like you're just showing to
so
check
good.
anything, and it's right there, and it's like, oh, you're speaking. Get in. Like I'm in.
Yeah, it happens. I get alerts. I get the alert. This person is speaking. I'm like, fuck.
You guys get alerts when people speak?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I
if
didn't
you have
realize that.
If you have notifications set for
that person.
Oh.
you'll get an alert when they're
So
speaking.
it's not
Okay.
like honestly, if I see like Pizzola speaking, it's probably like buckle the fuck up. He's laying into someone in there.
I don't request to speak
Yeah,
unless
you
I
get
got,
called- you get
unless
called
I got
out.
something to say. If
Yeah.
I got something to say, I'll request to speak.
Yeah.
But when they're like calling me in there, I'm not joining.
One more thing I want to touch on is I don't know who's some of these people who join are for sure drunk. Oh, I don't want to say for sure, but like
What do you mean? It's Saturday's Friday
I
night.
think-
What do you?
I think Bo the
aren't
first
they
time
allowed to be drunk?
Of course, no, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think
I mean,
Bo
one
the
guy
first
was
time
talking about how he's doing fentanyl or
Yeah, that
something
was-
like
no,
that. Like,
that
this
was-
fucking
that
crazy
was
shit
crazy.
that's
I
going
think
on.
that was losing better in his bet. The guy thought he was on fentanyl.
So I'm pretty sure I don't know.
Listen,
I
Bo,
thought Bo
thanks-
was drunk when the first time he joined. He
Listen,
sounded like he was slurring his
Shout
words.
out to Bo for joining as well. It clearly was his weekend with the kid. And he made kids and he made time to join the show.
Yeah,
so good
it's
for
so
him.
funny. He's like, you guys kept calling me in here. I gotta put the kids to bed. I gotta do this.
But people are.
But that's
are
real.
digging
I
He joined
believe
again
him.
late last
Yeah,
night. They're like,
exactly.
why did you come back in
I
here? He's
gotta
like, well, I'm an
piss.
old man. I had to take a piss. In the middle of the night.
That's
No, the problem with him. This is the
Bo
problem
would
with him.
excel in like a
He's a good
group
grifter.
chat. I think
He's a great
he
guy.
would excel.
If I didn't know like what Bo does,
Yeah.
I could be friends with him.
Yes.
I
That's the problem
easily-
with him.
That's the
agree.
problem with Bo. It's scary because like I'm not stupid and I know. Like again, I see the limits. I know, but he comes off as very relatable. A lot of these other guys come off as like crazy, insane person. It's like I don't want to ever meet that person.
But you
I don't
have
want to go. Bo, I'll have a drink with him, no problem. But like,
Yeah.
And it's so hard. Like you feel bad, not bad, but like people come in and they don't know what's going on, and the dudes are clearly making fun of Bo for the Hellcat. But then a dude gets on the mic being like, "Stop complimenting him on his Hellcat."
The Hellcat stuff was way too far.
Yeah, but like anyone who's been listening for 10 minutes knows they're just mocking. They're just mocking
100%.
him. It's,
100%.
okay, that was great. We're gonna do that again.
All right, Jason, thank you for joining.
Quickly, I just want to throw one thing out there. I got to go on forward progress. But Plus EV was the Saturday night spaces was Plus EV because it kept you up enough long enough if you weren't out.
Yes,
to see the
get
next
into the next topic.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Jason Cooper. Everyone, we'll bring him in every now and then as we discuss Twitter Spaces.
Well, we need him because someone has to put in the time.
We need someone who
Like,
did
we
all
need
the
him.
spaces.
It's like a research assistant
Yes.
for the show.
Yeah,
No,
it's
because
true. It's true.
if he's gonna
the
keep up-
I mean, you guys would probably similar age, Jason and Kirk,
Yeah.
right around.
If
and
he's
we
g-
should be in these just.
if
as much
Elf
as he
is gonna
You guys-
keep
I've
up,
got shit to do.
if Elf's gonna keep up this,
I guess I don't.
if this pace isn't gonna slow down, we might have to hire you an assistant.
Yeah, I'll take an assist.
If you want an internship at the Hammer, we might be posting some job descriptions. Hammer.bet this week. Thanks, Jason. All right, it's Super Bowl week, and you already know what that means. I got everyone asking me, where can I get some action on this game? Now, I love my friends. I love my family. But I don't like Super Bowl Sunday having to explain how odds work, how point spreads work. That is just a pain in my ass. By the time I'm done explaining everything, we're too close to kickoff. I haven't grabbed my food. There's just so many problems, and that's why I tell people to just use Underdog. Their higher or lower game is so easy, anyone can figure it out. Saquon Barkley, 115.5 rushing yards, higher or lower. It's that simple. Anyone can do it. That's it. No need to calculate implied probabilities or anything. You just pick, play, and enjoy the game. And this week, Underdog is basically giving you free money. New users get a free pick. Travis Kelce higher than half a receiving yard. That's a half receiving yard. Unless he gets lost on the way to the stadium, that one is hitting. Underdog is available in many U.S. states and every Canadian province and territory except for Ontario. So sign up now using code CIRCLES. Get up to $1,000 in bonus cash, plus that free Kelce pick as well. That'll make the game more enjoyable for you. You can hit the link in the description below. Enjoy your Super Bowl Sunday with Underdog. Late on Saturday night, actually early Sunday morning, because this broke early Sunday morning, Shams tweeted, breaking, the Dallas Mavericks are trading Luka Doncic essentially to the Lakers for Anthony Davis and a first-round pick, a 3-team deal that includes Utah. Now, I was awake at this time because I was in the Twitter spaces while it was happening and started getting posted in friend chats as well. And my first initial reaction was like, seems really, really weird. I'm not a basketball expert by any stretch of the imagination, but even I could tell that this is a very lopsided deal. Shams then has to tweet, yes, this is real. Sources tell ESPN, and he lists the trade out. This is like a bomb drop in the middle of the night, essentially. I will always remember where I was when like certain things happened in sports history. The most recent one for me that stands out was when Andrew Luck retired.
Yeah,
I remember I was playing board games with friends, and I just got like an alert. This is fucking crazy. Like a crazy deal for modern day NBA.
It's the craziest deal in NBA history and probably in sports history in terms of shocking value. The player being Luka, who's like probably the third most valuable asset in the NBA. Even when this tweet came up, yes, it is real. I still thought it was fake. When I started accepting like this actually happened was when other beat reporters tweeted like, yes, I'm also hearing this. I'm confirming. To me, the only comparable one I could think of in the NBA was the Paul George and then Kawhi's going also, but like that doesn't even compare to this. There are so many factors. One, no one knew Luka was available at all.
Right.
Two, now that it's seemingly come out that Luka wasn't demanding a trade, this was a Dallas decision, and that the Mavs didn't canvass the league and got this bad of a package. Like, I think Anthony Davis is maybe being underappreciated a little bit in these trade talks. He's very good, but like the Lakers had another first-round pick to offer and Dalton Connect. How did the Mavericks not get that? So, yeah, just probably the most shocking trade in sports history that I can think of.
Well, you weren't alone in terms of thinking that this still might be fake because Mr. Peanut Butter says, unbelievable Shams hack execution. It's absurd, but just real enough. I'm not 100% positive it's fake. I don't know the benefit, though. Whoever's doing this could easily move an NBA line and make themselves a good chunk of change. Were you up still, Jeff?
No.
So you saw this in the morning?
Yeah, I saw this in the group chat. And it started with like people saying that's fake. Everyone thought it was fake. That's the funniest thing about the best part about the whole trade. The entire internet didn't think it was real. That's how one-sided it is. The only thing this trade is going for it is like in all of life pretty much when like people have 100% consensus, it doesn't like work out. That's the only thing.
You know what?
There's only one side of this is it's so 100% consensus, and there's nothing that people agree on that's usually right. So that's the one thing I'll give you if you're a Mavs fan.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I agree with you there. I think back to like arguing with friends and colleagues about specific trades in history, and everyone
weren't as
thinks
bad as it.
Who was the running back for the Cleveland Browns? I want to say 2015-ish, high draft pick out of Alabama, Trent Richardson. He got traded for nothing, right? Like he just, and the whole people were
Colts.
like, what the fuck are the Browns doing and this and that? Like the most lopsided trade ever. And he
it's a little different, but
yeah, no, not obviously not apples to apples. This is like Luka, but you're right. I think back to some trades that were considered lopsided.
Yeah. There are like. The Mavs obviously have so much more information than we do, so you want to give benefit of the doubt, but also it just makes no sense. Like, even giving all the benefit of the doubt to the Mavs, you just can't get there. It just doesn't make
Even
sense.
if Anthony Davis was the player you wanted, and there probably wasn't other trades to get you off that,
Right.
you still canvass the league so you can get more with Anthony Davis. So you can go back to the Mavs or the Lakers and be like, we're getting these offers.
Yeah.
Like, you have to up your offer.
Right.
We're still getting the centerpiece we want, but the ancillary needs to be more. I don't know.
I would love to
fucking
see
wild.
like a 30 for 30 of how this trade came together. I think that would be riveting.
You might get one, honestly.
What is Jacob, Mavs GM Nico Harrison? What do you know about Nico Harrison?
Okay, well, this story came up again recently because of his ties to Anthony Davis.
Okay.
Because he used to work at Nike, and he was involved at Nike when Anthony Davis was involved there as well. And one thing he's infamous for with Nike is he completely botched the pitch to Steph Curry to get him to sign with Nike. This is alleged as reported, but he called him Seth in the interview instead of
No,
Steph.
I don't think that's reported. I think Nico Harrison has said that on record.
Okay.
Well, he's actually admitted to
He
that.
said, I'm pretty sure I called him
a-
Seth.
And then also, he used a presentation that was meant for Kevin Durant for Steph Curry. And Steph Curry ended up with Under Armour, one of the biggest wins for Under Armour, the biggest win Under Armour has ever had in basketball, to my knowledge. He's got his own brand there now. So, yeah, on this, I don't know. I feel like 100% of people are agreeing that this is a bad trade because it's just that bad of a trade. Like,
Agreed.
This trade is so bad that people think that there's corruption involved over it
Oh,
just
yeah.
being a
Well,
bad trade.
let's
The
get to
league
the Whitlock
ratings are
tweet.
ratings are down. We gotta
Oh.
service the Lakers.
like,
Yeah,
Do you
and
think it's
well,
more-
Nico is also really close with the Lakers GM,
Yes.
which makes it weird.
Yes.
And then the quotes afterwards from Nico, he was like bragging that when he brought it up to the owner laughed at him. Like, he said Jason Kidd didn't know. Like, it's just a very
Yeah, he was
bizarre
bragging
situation.
that nobody else knew about the trade. Like, you should have shopped
great.
it, man. Like Jeff was saying, like, you could have got the Lakers to up their offer.
Yeah.
I struggled to see the Lakers not doing this with the 31 pick involved as well.
Of course.
There's no way
It's
that
insane.
was a sticking point, right?
I love the quotes that were dug up from Mark Cuban in the past before, where it's like, if you ask me between like my wife and Doncic, like
Luka.
I'm getting a divorce.
Yes, yes.
The best part of this, or one of the great parts about this that I enjoyed, is there's so many NBA fans who did not know he didn't still own the team, wasn't still the controlling owner.
Right.
He had played it so perfectly in a sense where he had sold, he's gotten peak valuation for his sale, but he still, other than like having an owner suite, he still had the perception of 90% of the basketball world that he was still the fucking owner.
Oh, I knew.
And he
I don't know. I knew that.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
but
you-
I
Jacob,
guess.
you run a
I'm not
basketball
talking about
YouTube
you.
channel.
I'm talking
Kurt,
about
you knew
like
that, right?
I
Kurt,
did.
you knew
I'm
that,
talking
right?
about
Till
everybody.
just now, honestly.
Kurt,
that
were you
he
aware of
almost
that?
had to
Yeah,
come
of
out
course.
and
Okay.
yeah, the people who are
Fair enough.
inside the
Fair enough,
league.
fair enough. I didn't know
Listen,
that
there's a
was-
lot. I saw some ugly stuff on the internet about the trade, just based on who the owner of the Mavericks is now.
Yeah, I did see that.
Right, so
Yeah,
it
yeah.
went to like a lot of really ugly places. But Mark Cuban, for the first time, pretty much publicly acknowledged, I know you still think like I'm not the owner of the team anymore, and he was walking the line so perfectly of getting paid, but people still thinking that he had it. So he had this whole trade blew up that facade for him.
So I miss the era of blockbuster trades in sports. I think a lot of that's changed because of salary caps in certain leagues. It's really hard to move players. Recently, we've seen, we're not even talking about the Aaron Fox trade that was reported as well, which is a big deal. In the NHL, weeks ago, we saw Mikko Rantanen get traded for Carolina for Necas, Martin Necas. We're starting to see those happen again. I miss that about sports. Like I love that something like this has happened to get us talking about the league again.
Absolutely. Well, I think the NBA, to give the NBA credit, as like the on-court product people seem to have a problem with, has always had the blockbuster move.
Yeah.
But even when people didn't like the on-court problem, like what was a suffocating conversation on Twitter? It was what's wrong with the NBA.
Yeah.
Like the NBA, for all of its shortcomings, or people trying to make it out like because the TV ratings are down pretty much every sport outside of football,
Yeah.
that it is somehow like now inferior, and the low-hanging fruits that come with that. That discourse alone, by how like galvanizing that discourse was on the internet, and then you see the discourse around a trade, like the league is still fucking king. It's not football.
Yeah.
No one is, but it is still on like almost a tier of its own.
Yeah. I really appreciated back in the day when I thought Adam Schefter was like an incredibly smart guy. He's tweeting. His tweet comparison for this, an NFL equivalent, the Ravens trading Lamar Jackson plus to the Bengals in exchange for Joe Burrow plus in the middle of the season, did not even come remotely close to capturing what this trade is.
The greatest thing about football season being over is this guy can go away for a little bit. Free agency, he can pop back up, do his thing.
Yeah.
I'm pro Shefty, but like some of his shit has just jumped the shark.
You know who actually had the best comp? Nick Wright. Nick Wright said this is like if a deal was made a year and a half ago and it was Josh Allen getting traded for Matt Stafford in a first. That
good.
to me is as close a I
Can
don't
I
like
give you
Nick
mine?
Wright. Go ahead, Jacob.
I think a good current day one is trading Jamar Chase for Mike Evans plus picks.
Sure.
Plus picks.
Similar type of thing where you
I
get a
hate
young
I hate this game. My brain doesn't even try.
Yeah, I agree. My
Like,
brain,
my brain
just
is
doesn't
not
compute
even
that.
going to try to fucking think of this great hypothetical trade. Credit to everyone who has it. It's not for me.
Yeah, the only thing this made me realize is that the tier of QBs drop off after Burrow is so big. Like I was looking through like what the comparison. Who's the fifth best quarterback in the NFL? Like Baker Mayfield?
No. Justin Herbert or Jaden Daniels.
Oh yeah, Justin Herbert. Yeah.
But they need to be old for it to work.
Exactly.
Older, like
That's why
AD.
Stafford works, because he's a
Yeah.
good quarterback, but he's old.
Yeah, using a year and a half.
Clearly,
that
the
makes
Mavs
sense.
think that Luka is going to be a better Harden. Like this guy. No, I'm just saying.
he's a better Harden. Harden won a
they didn't-
bunch of
Harden won an
I'm
MVP
just
and
sure.
probably
I
should
don't
have
know.
more
Like,
than one.
I'm just. They clearly have this perception that he's not going to want to get in shape or
Yes.
live up to
Wants
the
to eat
standard
burgers and
of
whatever.
the of what we want when we're going to
that
give the guy like
took
that.
it to the final last.
Clearly,
year.
they
Clearly, it
I
doesn't
know.
really matter.
I'm just saying what they must.
Yes.
Yeah,
they must think.
The reports coming out is that they're just done trying to get him on the track.
So
they
now
want.
he's going to LeBron, who's like the health epitome, like the freak health epitome. We'll see
Yeah.
if he can get him going.
Got to wonder how this is going to affect LeBron's 10-plus point streak.
Yeah, that's
by
the most
way.
important.
Is that being incorporated into the numbers going
on the
forward?
stream. I know Elf's a big 10-plus point guy, isn't
Yeah,
he?
Yes.
One thing before we move on here is that anybody who thinks this is like Adam Silver made the call type of thing, do you think it's more plausible Adam Silver asked Nico Harrison to make a bad trade on purpose to help NBA ratings, so therefore sacrifice Nico Harrison's credibility and job security, all for NBA ratings, or do you think it's more plausible that Nico Harrison's just bad at his job?
Yeah, exactly.
Who has had a
the
track
guy who
record
botched
of being bad at his job?
the Steph Curry
and
stuff.
this is the-
Basically a glorified shoe salesman. Basically Al Bundy making the trade. Do you know who Al Bundy is?
I do.
Oh, that's tough.
It's a tough one.
Not like it's like whatever.
I know you
Part of
shouldn't
life.
have a
Not
reason
like-
to know.
Yeah, that's just,
Yeah, it's just tough. Yeah. Married with Children was a big sitcom when
It's actually
he
really
and Jeff were
sad
growing up. Yeah.
that like my dad's over 80, but like if I have to think of like memories with my dad, it's probably sitting there watching him watch that show, understanding like 1% of the jokes.
Oh,
but
100%.
Him just
I used to
dying.
watch with my dad as well.
I never seen my dad enjoy anything in life as much as he enjoyed that goddamn show.
Al Bundy just sitting down on that couch, sticking his hand down in his pants. Classic moments. Maybe not a classic moment here, but definitely worth talking about as it pertains to the NBA. We've all been there before, trying to make a big play on the Super Bowl and then getting blocked at the worst possible moment. Your card gets declined, your PayPal freezes, or you can't reload your account in time. It's frustrating. That's why so many serious bettors I know swear by Edge Boost. It's the first ever dedicated bank account for sports betting, DFS, casino, and sweeps. Whether you're online or you're at the sportsbook, you'll never run into issues with deposits getting declined. And here's the kicker. The Edge Boost Visa debit card lets you move up to $250K per day, plus you earn cash back on every deposit. So if you're betting $10K a week, which I know a lot of you are, that's an extra $100 to $400 back in your pocket every single week. Over an NFL season, that's an extra $2K to $8K, perfect for those Super Bowl prop bets, for futures, or to cover some of those inevitable losses. I've got a ton of sharp bettors in my circle using Edge Boost right now. The consensus is clear. It's the most reliable and efficient way to manage your bankroll. The Super Bowl is coming. Don't get stuck with your funds tied up when you need them the most. Start earning today at edgeboost.bet or click the link in the description down below. Breaking news, federal prosecutors investigating whether Terry Rozier manipulated his performance in 2023 as part of an illegal sports betting scheme, per the Wall Street Journal. Dave Purdom tweets, multiple sportsbooks received requests in January from feds for betting records for clients connected to Jonte Porter's scandal. According to sources aware of the request, the same bettors are linked to the suspicious betting on Terry Rozier's props from March 2023. There's been lots of stuff that's been out there, some real, some fake. There's you look back to earlier March 2023, Denchman on Twitter kind of was...
Good follow, by the way.
Good follow, according to Jacob. I'm not going to say he's a good follow because I don't personally follow him, but according to Jacob.
Clearly the guy was pretty savant here.
Yeah, he noticed this in real time as it was happening, but then there's more to this afterwards because someone else back in 2023 made what appears to be a joke of a tweet about him betting on Rozier's unders because he got inside information. And turns out that this has been caught up. Worldwide Wob tweeted about it. And it's pretty hilarious stuff.
I can't even imagine being Greg in this situation. A tweet from 2 years ago that was a joke. I was arguing with people that this wasn't a joke. It has become very clear that this was a joke. But imagine coming back to your phone and an account with millions of followers has retweeted a tweet from 2 years ago alleging you in this scheme because you were trolling, saying that Rozier was colluding or rigging games, and then it turned out it might be true.
It's an insane, unlucky circumstance for this guy. The best part was that he actually embraced it and started tweeting that the FBI is taking over his account and stuff like that. If that wasn't the dead giveaway of it being a joke, then I don't know.
Greg's great.
I would have reacted way differently than this. If I had a tweet from 2023, even as a troll, I would have been pretty petrified. He really took it on the chin, kept joking about it. Good for him.
So $122. What's he got to be afraid of?
That's also the giveaway as well.
What do we?
But that's also the giveaway that it was a joke. People are responding to this now, and they're like, "You knew that it was a fix, and you only bet $122." It's it's a joke. But what's going around now is that there's some speculation, and again, this is just pure speculation, that Rozier's girlfriend or a girl that he liked was betting these unders, and she apparently posted this publicly. So no fucking way. I think it has to do with Selena Powell. I saw a weird tweet a while back that quickly got deleted. Apparently she was betting his under on three-pointers, tweeted it out under a Heat fan account a month or two ago, but quickly deleted it. Heat Nation says, wait, that one model linked to Terry Rozier is claiming he's missing so she can hit her parlays. She replied to me saying that, now deleted. What the hell is going on? This has to be...
Dude, get tout. People want clout so hard. Even this girl who's getting fed it from Rozier needed clout.
I know.
That's a great point.
The obsession of getting clout for winning bets on the internet, even ones that you're being fed by active players, knows no bounds. That she felt the need to want to brag about knowing this bet.
And I actually think this theory is more plausible than him just rigging games himself for money himself, because it's 130 million career earnings. There's just no way it could make sense.
It's not a Jonte Porter situation.
Yes,
Jonte
exactly.
Porter's he's a D-League player.
Jonte Porter was on about $400K at the time.
Yeah,
at the time of this game, he was on in the first year of a $96 million contract.
That must be
women make you do crazy things.
That might be some wild pussy. No, I'm just saying, you're thinking come on. That must be where you want her to get the endorphins of hitting a fucking little parlay.
Yes.
That must be, and how she puts out for you when those things are flying, when her FanDuel's popping. Yeah, it can't be. He's not trying to make
Money.
There's no side hustle in this.
No, there's not. I will say though, I'm very strong in my stance that if this
He's
turns out
innocent?
to be true, if it turns out to be true after investigation, I think he should get a lifetime ban.
Well, did you-
Agreed.
That's the precedent.
But
Judge
this
Porter
stuff,
You can't fuck around with this.
Yes.
This is like,
well-
you know how many people have.
now they want to get rid of prop bets. Like even on ESPN, what's the show where they give fake points? I'm not even making
Oh,
fun of
Around
the
the
show.
Horn.
Yeah, they said like we got like there's a fix here. Like you bet the winners of the game, you can bet over unders, but this whole like hyper niche props on like these smallest little aspects of the game.
Yeah.
Like people are calling for those to go.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing.
Some
Like,
states have already said they're going to get rid of. There's some places you can bet games but not props, right?
well, they've been talking about stuff.
Yeah,
like
I think that was like in the Massachusetts bill, but isn't a thing
Some
yet.
states you can't bet on college props because of. I think
Or you
Ohio's
can't
one
bet
of
the
them.
college team
Oh,
that's
yeah.
in the
The-
state.
yeah.
Like if you're
The
in
one in your
Chicago,
state,
you can't
yeah.
bet. Or Illinois, you
That's
can't bet
it, that's
Northwestern
it.
games and stuff like that. But yeah, that's a tough scene.
I think he probably just if he's involved, he probably is involved by. That's my guess. Is involved by accident. Whether he told somebody is it his minutes who had
What
no
did he say
intention
to
of sharing that.
his honeypot? He's like, listen,
Well-
I'm not. I don't take threes. Coach don't want me to take them. I'm not
you
taking.
can't
them.
do that
or
stuff. though,
it leaked to a
regardless.
staff member on the Hornets who leaked it.
So
to
like your
bettors.
little honeypot to say I'm not. The coach yelled at me for shooting threes. I don't think's the worst thing, but the fact that she had to like clout chase that's dirty.
It really is. I mean,
Like
listen,
it's not good. It's part of like the nefarious part of this thing. But if he's just relying like those 3-pointers, like I am like banned from those.
Yeah. It's a tough look all around. And speaking of tough looks, Ian McMillan finds himself here on Circle Back for a second time.
Sorry,
I've
Ian.
known,
I said sorry, Ian.
yeah, I've known Ian
I
for a
feel
long
like he
time.
got done dirty here a bit.
Well, we'll talk about it. He tweeted, BetMGM has no for a hole-in-one at Pebble Beach Pro-Am at plus 110, adding it to my cart. There hasn't been a hole-in-one recorded at this event at Spyglass or Pebble since 2016. With only 80 golfers in the field this year, there will be even fewer opportunities. So somewhat of a handicap. Some people started tweeting at him that his info is incorrect. He acknowledged that. Looks like I got bad info. Justin Rose recorded one at Spyglass in 2023. That's on me for assuming the official event's media guide would be accurate. I feel bad.
Listen, the PGA Tour, those lazy fucks, their presentation on everything is so bad. To know that they've just been copy and pasting 8-year-old media guides
100%.
and Ian got dirtied by it. What?
Well,
I don't think that's like the cap, but you would expect if anywhere is going to have the accurate information, it's the goddamn official stuff. But
100%, dude. There's nothing more frustrating than seeking
But
out
the
a stat
PGA
and
Tour,
it just being wrong.
the PGA Tour is known for being difficult, for having like the official. Like if you're betting a tournament, you want the official scorecard. Is it playing as a 72 or a 71?
Right.
What's the official yardage on the card?
Yeah.
It's not like they are known. Like you almost have to triple check it because they're not very accurate on the official site.
Well, knowing the information afterwards, he doubled down on it still being a good bet. The Degenerate said, this feels like when you watch a football game and they show the kicker is 15 of 15 on field goals of 50 plus and then he misses. For that reason, I'm fading respectfully, of course. Add yes, hole in one to my card. I feel, I don't know, like, I don't know if there's data to support this, but I've had a Twitter account, I think, since like 2010. I've tweeted many things. I feel like the picks that I've gone in hard on, and I always tell people, like, this is actually a great, subjectively just feel like they lose. Like, the universe is trying to tell me, like, you're a fucking idiot. Don't do this
But
stuff.
you wear those losses harder because of a stupid tweet.
Yeah,
You just
they hurt
wear
bad.
They're more memorable losses.
You wear them, and you know how this is. Even like Rob, you are very respectful, and you approach it in responsible gaming. Even the most muck fucking phony cappers, when they put something out there that have like a following, when they put something out there that goes wrong, like guarantee you they're getting death threats.
Yeah.
Maybe like death threats is a stretch, but even the generic golden boy, like when they get it wrong on a night, those comments are probably atrocious. So I can imagine when you're trying to do it good, but no, it doesn't work like that.
So, as you can imagine,
Well, here, in regards to this, What do you think the graphic said when the guy was 14 of 14 on field goals? Like, graphic said the same
it's
thing.
not
and
the
he hit
graphic. I don't need the graphic is one thing. It's when the announcer
Yes.
says it. That's
Yeah,
what we hate as fans.
The announcer mush.
But
is
they'll
what we
say
hate.
it before the 15 of 15. They'll say he's 14 of 14.
Chris Collinsworth, I gotta say, is famous for this stuff. Collinsworth is the guy.
But now they play both sides because they're like, now you know it's gonna miss, Jim.
Yeah, they do.
Exactly.
They
do. They
free
know
roll.
what they're
They free
doing
roll.
now.
Yeah,
That's
they
announcers
hedge it.
jinx.
They hedge. They
Yeah,
hedge.
or they're almost like Nance will give it like he's hit 10. He's hasn't missed inside 8 feet all week, and like after he says it, he's like, I can't believe I didn't want to say that. Like they almost now it's part of the
Yes.
delivery of it.
So within 2 hours, Rory hit a hole-in-one. Ian has to tweet, did the hole-in-one bet lose less than 2 hours into the tournament? Yes. Do I think it was a good bet at plus 110 odds? Yes. Does it being a good bet matter at this point? No. He got roasted in his messages. One guy said, LOL, this guy's reputation, if he had any, is gone. The thesis for your bet was based on information you later admitted was inaccurate. Yet here you are doubling down after the bet lost in the first few hours of the tourney. It's okay to admit you were wrong once in a while on the internet. That's the big mistake.
I think that's a good tweet, and the reputation one is a terrible tweet.
Well, the reputation is a joke.
He was
Come
a
on.
plus 110 bet.
Yeah.
Like, who gives a shit
Also,
about
like,
how that?
let's be it lost. The bet lost, and you're judged on your wins and losses. He did bet it at plus 110, and it closed at minus 125. I messaged Rufus on the side and said, "Do you price this?" He said, "I don't price this, so I can't tell you." But generally speaking, when we make a bet at plus 110 and it closes minus 125, we're taking that more often than not. And then naturally, Shane Lowry also hit an ace as well on the 7th. I'm already dead. Stop.
Salt in the wound.
I think the ultimate, at the end of the day, when this stuff is inevitable. If you give out picks, you're going to have losing ones. But when you don't, the tweet about like, was it a good bet? Yes. Is unnecessary. It is only going to turn people against you.
Even if it's true, it just makes you look worse.
Exactly.
And
bad optics.
Yes.
I'm not anti-sharp, but I feel like that is what, when I used to get like really annoyed at Rufus, it was like that exact sort of thing.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
that, it was exactly
I bet
it.
this guy minus 2,400 not to make the cut or whatever, and he did, but it was a great bet. It should have
Yeah.
been this price.
No, he doesn't usually do that with those sorts of bets. With those bets where it's like the insane risk, I actually give him credit because he's very like transparent about that, and he was even part of an article I think on somewhere last year where like he fully acknowledged like these bets are not for like the amount of liquid you have to be sitting on to make those bets. It's just like not for everyone. He could understand why someone would make that bet and be throwing up, staring at their phone from Thursday on.
Yeah.
It's more of like just like the standard regular bet, but I didn't mean to do that. I like Rufus.
I get it. I've done
it's
it.
Super Bowl week. Rufus is probably going to win like $3 million.
2 years ago, Jacob was watching the Super Bowl with me at my house, my infamous Bitcoin basement. I talked about how it was such a great bet.
It wasn't just me, by the way. It was
It was
all
a hammer
the
team.
hammer
It was
staff.
Zach, Jason, Moretto, and we're sitting there. And I had talked all week about how this was on Pinnacle at the time. No field goal, not any kick, no field goal to hit an upright was like minus 360, okay? It ended up closing like minus 627 or something like that. I talked about it ad nauseum, and naturally, it was Jake Elliott that
I think it was even bigger juice than that. But anyways.
No, it was roughly that, but I then did the same spiel afterwards. Like, it was a great bet. But sometimes you just got to understand that the people don't care.
No one wears. Ian is usually really good at wearing it, so
He's good. He's a good
yeah.
person.
So I don't. Yeah.
Well, what-
He'll be back in the batter's box this fucking week. Ian's great like that.
I would argue that is probably good for his brand, honestly. The guys like, you lost your reputation. No, it just drew more visibility. Us even talking about it draws even more visibility. We do have the Super Bowl coming up this week. As a reminder, we have another YouTube channel dedicated to NFL content. It's called Forward Progress. On Wednesday, starting at noon Eastern time, we're running a 5-hour live Super Bowl props show. 30 guests, each of them giving out their favorite prop bet for the Super Bowl. Set notifications. That's over on Forward Progress. Make sure you're subbed there as well if you do enjoy NFL betting content. George Riley Panagakis, GRP, loves to bet the Super Bowl. He's been putting together a portfolio for months, and he's acknowledged it by writing them down into his notebook and talking about them every single day, as he likes to do. I got to tell you, it's getting absurd now what this guy is betting for the Super Bowls. This tweet, I audibly laughed out loud for a while. I may have even teared up at this tweet. 2 athletic quarterbacks, they might catch their own blocked pass, ? And he adds to his notebook, any player completes a pass to themselves at $100 at 75 to 1. This was in addition to him betting like offensive linemen to win Super Bowl MVP. He had another one this week here, Jacob, on the next slide.
How'd that get in there? Come on, people are trying to eat their lunch. Okay, come on, who did that?
Just placed a bet with Circa. Will Carson Wentz play at least one snap as backup quarterback for Mahomes?
I will pop
$500.
so fucking hard if Mahomes has to take a breather and Wentz gets in there. I'll be so happy for
Or like
George.
Carson Wentz comes in and kneel out the game.
Though.
It's not.
I'm not saying it's a good bet.
This guy's
I'm
not
just-
acknowledged what the prices are on any of these bets.
Okay. I would just. Are you
Well, acknowledge the
are you
price
finished?
there. He said
I'm
plus
finished. So
95.
I think he said I may be imagining this, but I believe that he has said before that if one of these bets hits, he's going to be famous.
Okay.
Okay. I think that's the motivation for these bets.
He has told me a slightly different variation of the same thing. But first, going back to the first page, I gotta say, I don't even think the this catch your own pass. I think there's 4 worse bets on the page than that. Like I think Zach Johnson's a worse bet.
Zach Johnson to win the Masters
is missing 3 zeros. I think Penei Sewell to win MVP. That's insane.
An offensive
In our
lineman.
life has an offensive line. Like, no, he could be great. Like, I'm not disputing that. So there are way worse bets, I believe, significantly worse bets on this page. As bad as that bet is. But to Rob's second point, as George, as I remember it, or how he has told me, as when he bragged in a tweet about this Jalen Carter 400 to 1 MVP, he goes, if it wins, they won't be allowed to make fun of me anymore.
no.
So it's like
My point that I was going to say, which is just now so confirmed by what both of you have said, is these bets make me sick because GRP 2 years ago was like a rec plus, maybe betting like -2%, like eating a little bit into the vig on like win total
and he's
futures
good
that
on
were decent.
sides.
Well, I
don't know. If
He had a good record on sides. I would.
But he's so methodical about like when he plays a side that when he plays it, I almost give it like a modicum of respect.
You'd much rather book his sides than tail his sides.
But he doesn't even play them.
He plays like 10 a year. We
And
can't
he
judge
went
his
like,
sides.
and he used to play 10-2.
Yeah, I know. He had a good record this year.
He used to play decent bets for not that much money that were season long. Now he bets this just for fame and for, I guess so people don't make fun of him
This
anymore.
guy put $100 down on a player to catch a pass to themselves. Yet he gave his mother $40 worth of lottery tickets for Christmas.
But this is our fault. We have led George to this as a collective, not us.
You
as a
think
show,
we
just as a
led? You
collective.
think as a collective we led him into the bushes to board flip for snakes?
I know. See,
I don't
remember
think
that?
so.
You remember that era of George? No. Where he was like into nature and he would
I
just
thought
go.
that was a metaphor.
No.
Yeah,
He
I
was
trying to
literally
figure that one out myself.
No, this is he would go into the woods and he would
Drop wooden planks.
boards down, and he would go check them the next day because apparently that's
Snakes.
would like he wanted to see some snakes, and he would lift them up and be like,
I take
you know
no
what? I
res-
do
okay.
kinda remember this
So you're
now.
saying it's because we put some air in his tires? that he
Yes.
feels-
Yes. That he has now turned into this.
I definitely see that.
Yeah.
He to me is definitely someone.
Yeah,
who
because he's been on
craves attention.
your channel twice or once, and in his Twitter bio it says as featured on like the Hammer
Jeff,
Forward
he's not-
Progress.
Jeff, he came on one Forward Progress live watch along, and he also did the Super Bowl best bet show last year, the prop show. I don't believe he's been scheduled for this year. I don't know the exact guest list. But
You're not in charge of booking.
No, Moretto's booked that show.
People yell at Moretto.
But what I will say about him is that I've completely lost my train of thought now, and I'm just stalling. GRP, I'm lost.
Okay.
I'm lost.
My only other point, now that I'm thinking about it, a 10,000 to 1 upset that GRP hasn't been on the spaces. Do you think he doesn't know what a space is?
No, because he's done them with real fats before.
Yeah, he's done them with fats
But
before.
to me, this is GRP's
This
his
is his
Super
calling.
Bowl.
It's true.
I'm
How is
shocked
GRP
he has not been on the spaces.
100%. What I will say is that those appearances, he's messaged me like a dozen times
the clips?
since then.
Yeah, he wants to send
He's
them
like,
to his
why did you
family."
take down my episode? I'm like, of Circles Off. It's like, we never had you on Circles Off. Like, you've never been on Circles Off. He's like, where's my clip? I said, if I go through my Twitter DMs with him, like, it's just me sending him the same link. I'm like, scroll up, man. Scroll. But why would you want that? It's an appearance from a live watch along of a football game from 2 seasons ago. What are you doing with that?
That
It's
long?
on us.
Wow.
It's
He's
on
sending
us.
it to someone else. It's insane.
Created a monster.
Oh my
Okay.
God. If like Mahomes has like a ball batted at the line of scrimmage, you know what these guys are trained to do, by the way, as well? Not catch it.
Yeah, head down,
They're trained
yeah.
to knock it down.
Knock it down.
I can't wait for him to catch a ball in the Super Bowl, though, Mahomes. It'll be epic. One of our earliest episodes of Circle Back, we talked a little bit about Kevin Durant and his propensity to go after people, go after bettors. Because, listen, the betting space nowadays, people are tweeting at athletes all the time. You see it courtside at games. People are yelling at guys like, I need you to get this many rebounds. It's kind of insane. My opinion at the time was that it's kind of like athletes should just avoid this at all costs. That was all changed this week when I saw Kevin Durant respond to this star 1120 on Twitter. It's a reason why I never bet on your bitch ass at KD Trey 5. Kevin Durant says, Brokey, you'll be you won't miss that little $4 you lost tonight. And then Star says, so we got to be broke because you're inconsistent? Shut your old ass up, clown. Just retire already.
Sorry, Kevin Durant is far from it. So we did on the NBA show we do at the Hammer, the Board YouTube channel. One of our bets featured Kevin Durant 20+ points, which he had hit. Not that this was part of the handicap. It was just he had hit 30 games in a row, 20+ points, and he didn't in this game. So inconsistent is something that Kevin Durant absolutely
is
positively is not.
Yeah. So he says, I'm talking to you, nobody else. Stop betting. You aren't good enough.
Great. Brokey crushes it. The last tweet crushes it.
Brokey.
Durant, like you say, like sometimes you just wish he wouldn't tweet, but I got to give him the flowers here.
I've done a complete 180. And listen, as bettors in
You're gonna
life,
add a player, you're a psychopath.
yes.
The lowest, like, form.
Oh, it's absurd.
If you want to yell,
you
at-
are fucking
Yeah.
a pathetic human being.
It's one
if
thing,
you
like,
tweet at a
even
player.
if you yell at a player without tweeting them, I think is pretty like low grade.
Yes.
You're probably betting too much than you should. But to at them is a level of.
It's a transfer of blame. You're making the bet yourself. It is on you. You're handicapping what is going to happen. If it doesn't go the way you thought it was going to go, that's on you for placing that bet. It's not the player. It's not the player's fault. Obviously, they're contributing. That's the lamest. I hate that. It drives me crazy. But I will say, I'm flipping. I now embrace this. I want to see athletes chum it up with average fans and do. You aren't good enough at betting. I love that. I love that from KD.
Broke bitch. Get out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
To me, also the we question mark's really funny. Like, we're not broke, you're fucking broke.
Yeah.
But the only thing I disagree with is like, I'm not flipping on Kevin Durant. I think like he just has a 50% hit rate of really funny tweets, and then 50% you're like,
Oh,
Durant,
cringe.
put the phone
Yeah.
away.
The real
Yeah.
cringe stuff with Durant is like all the people who've uncovered his burners
Yes,
over the years,
yes.
right? Like he's not even good enough to hide his burn.
Yeah.
That's like sad. But those types of responses, absolutely fantastic. I'm all for it. And, you react to new information in life. Something new comes in. That's something new. Completely flip my opinion. Finally, this is kind of a weird subject, but it was very noteworthy this week, which was Justin Tucker allegedly engaging in some bad behavior with massage therapists over the course of the year. Now, what I found interesting about this entire thing was that this starts to come out publicly. Justin Tucker issues a statement saying this is unequivocally false. But there's so many old tweets from like 2021, 2022 that just get retweeted, like this Jay Wick one. Fun fact, Justin Tucker ejaculates prematurely and is banned from multiple salons in Baltimore.
I did not realize that was 2021.
Yes, 2021. And Kanish, he says this very succinctly. It's legitimately insane how nondescript Twitter accounts have surfaced with like 200 followers that tweeted some form of that old creep Justin Tucker is banned from every massage parlor in Baltimore between 3 to 7 years ago. It's like the entire town knew. And like, I was thinking about that afterwards. I'm like, there are so many of these accounts that were tweeting about this years ago. Why does it just get dismissed at that time? Like,
How did it only come out now?
How did it make it till now before it came out?
Because I guess it takes someone at like the newspaper to want to do it.
Yeah.
Like
I
it
guess
takes
so.
someone to see the underground stuff and then for them to want to follow up on it. Like you said, there are so many tweets that are like time-stamped that just indicate how true this story is. And my funny comparison, though totally unrelated, was to the Big Cat stuff.
Yeah.
Because literally, you go look at any tweet Big Cat's had in the last like 5 years, there is a swarm of comments that be like, "You're a fraud from Massachusetts." It was like the most known thing on the internet that like
Worst
just
kept
wasn't,
secret.
But it never blown up.
Yeah, it never blown up. It never became a thing, but it seemed like everyone in the know like absolutely knew. And that's what I thought about when I saw all of these Twitter accounts with proof of or corroborating the Tucker story from years back.
I gotta tell you, I'll just never get it, man. Like, Justin Tucker is a very highly paid kicker. There are so many options.
You got a
available.
dark passenger.
I know.
And
It's hard for me to put myself into that position because I don't have.
And I have a buddy who likes these sorts of things, and he's open about it because he tweets about it. I'll just shout him out, Kenny Kim.
Oh, yeah, I love Kenny Kim.
Yeah, he's wild. He sent out this tweet, like pretty much calling Justin Tucker to the carpet on like the etiquette of the salons.
Yeah.
And the more depraved you are, like I don't care how much money you are, if you're a depraved sick fuck, you've got to go to the scuzzy places.
Sure, 100%.
You're not welcome in the like nicer.
Yeah, you don't go to your massage
establishments.
therapist and like reveal yourself and tell them to touch it. Like that. That's not
and,
the
like,
avenue
everyone
for it.
into the massage parlor scene. Like these are 101 rules.
100%. But at those parlors in particular, I'm not speaking from experience, but at those parlors, it's an accepted behavior. You know what you're getting into beforehand. When you're going to like a regular massage therapist and exposing yourself and like that's what I don't understand. You might have like this.
So do you think
But
he's
he's deranged.
Do you think he's a Raven next year?
That's a good question.
I doubt it. He was
Yeah, I
also
doubt it.
horrible.
I don't
I
think
doubt
so.
it.
He didn't have a good year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think this is. I mean, once it like comes out, and there's a tail, and then they're gonna have like over a handful of women. It's
It's
not
also
gonna be.
very hard to give him the benefit of the doubt, considering
And you're
the
not QB1.
massive-
You're a kicker.
Yeah,
like,
you're first-
Deshaun was QB1.
Yes. He's a $250 million player. Like, that's a different story. And
Even after someone was willing to give him that.
Exactly.
I did
Yeah.
like the tweets of the Cleveland Browns have traded for Justin Tucker and given him a $200 million contract.
There's so many pictures that have surfaced of like Tucker shaking Deshaun Watson's hand and stuff like that. Now,
Winning tweet by the whole.
Yeah,
It seemed
great
like
tweet
the
by Kanish.
and hey, listen, they kept it. The guy was delivering for the team.
Yeah.
You asked me why it didn't come out. Maybe it just took the bad year.
That
the guy
is
delivered.
A
He always
fantastic
fucking
point.
delivered
That
for
is
them.
a fucking really good
Who's
point.
going to railroad the fucking
You know
football-
what? Yeah,
all
That
pro
is a
guy?
really-
really,
great point.
really good point.
it is a great point. You can keep that under wraps when the player
When he's
never
the best
misses
kicker
a
ever,
fucking
yeah.
field goal.
Now
But all
he's
of a sudden
terrible.
he stinks and it starts to come.
It's pretty sad that
Of course.
that could
Oh,
be the case.
Oh, horrible.
Disgusting.
No doubt that it's sad. We're just
But it's a
talking in
great-
reality.
it's a
And like
great
the
point.
editor who sat on the story, if someone was sitting on the story, not letting the reporter work the story that
Yeah.
that person should be fired.
Yeah.
If like, because
If
it
there's
is
like
disgusting.
a hardcore Ravens fan and they're like, hey, listen, come on. Like, this is our best team in forever.
We're in
Like,
our
we
window.
can't
This is
get
our
this out.
window.
He missed
For a
another
kicker,
field
though,
goal.
I
Start
don't know.
writing.
For a kicker, I don't know.
No, I know.
No, I don't know. But it's a good theory.
Yeah, I know. I like it.
Plausible.
It's so weird to me. It's not weird, I get it, but like, yeah, how there's so many of these stories that come out of the woodwork nowadays, and it's like, well, yeah, we actually knew about this back
It's
in
everything
2020.
is like The
It's-
Simpsons, where they like had
They
it in an
predicted it
episode 20
beforehand.
years ago.
I know.
It does seem like there are many stories where the breadcrumbs were all over the internet.
Yep. All right. We'll end on that.
But I don't.
Like, good.
No, I'm just saying, like, who's gonna fund this tweet from 2021? Like, other than giggling at it, like, what do you suppose?
Well, exactly. If you see this in 21, you're laughing. You're like, what the fuck is this guy talking? But then when you search it and you're like, wow, there's fucking like a lot of tweets about inappropriate behavior and like massage. Like, then you're like, okay, maybe there's something here. Like, that doesn't just happen, right? People just don't randomly start spamming tweets about your behavior at massage parlors and stuff like that. It's messed up. Hashtag circle back. If you want to tag us in anything on Twitter, you see something that you want us to incorporate into the show, we do that as much as possible. Use that hashtag circle back. Of course, leave us a comment down below. Those go a long way. Last week's comments were off the hook. A lot of that was to do with Bo Wagner's 3366. But, of course, do leave us comments. It helps us grow, helps us get a larger audience. And if you're not subbed here on Circles Off, I don't know what you're doing. About 50% of you watching this right now are not subbed to the channel. Please do me a favor. Click that subscribe button. It's just a vanity metric, but it does help us. It gives us a little bit more respectability in the space. So please click that down below. Everyone enjoy the Super Bowl this week. We'll catch you next Monday. Peace out.